Osric Chau.
Sitting.
You're amazing! You're adorable!
Hi.
Awesome!
All right, for the next 40 minutes, you're gonna watch me sit and drink. I actually don't drink alcohol. I've actually never tried it in my life.
Never.
It might be a weird concept. Here?
Do I look like someone that doesn't drink?
I'm not gonna answer that. Wow,
How are you doing?
Good. So this is the last thing that's happening, right? This is...
You're closing Comic-Con.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Did you know that this thing was only 2 days long? I feel like I've been here for a week. I mean, in a good way, you know, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. I didn't expect... I had no expectations for DutchComicCon. I'll be very honest, but this has been such a wonderful event, and all of you has been such a big part of that. Bubbles. You know, we went through so many growing pains. We've learned to put a fence up since yesterday, apparently, where people... Okay, well, great.
So, I think we have some questions.
Oh right, did you figure out a question system?
No. No, I'm not saying anything anymore. Well, they're all pointing at a little guy there.
Sure, there's our system. How many pointing fingers can you get?
Okay, so he's first.
Oh,
She.
Whoa, she's in a very good
Why is everyone is dressed up like guys? Is that you?
Because Supernatural has too many guys.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant answer. Hey.
Representing the Dutch Supernatural family.
By the way, they got a Facebook group and it's growing. You should find them.
We just today we passed the 100 member mark.
Oh wow, congratulations.
We have 103 members right now.
Close to the amount. Well, close to the amount.
We have 103 members right now, and it's still growing because people are passing around the Facebook page. But as a Supernatural family, we wanted to welcome you to Holland, so we have...
This is a giant bag of strudel waffles.
And we wanted to ask if
Oh my
you
god,
want to be
real
up-
clogs?
Yes.
Try them all.
Wow, these are so Peter Pan. Do you have scissors? Okay, well. I actually can't walk in them because they're tied together. I can shuffle. So, wow. Okay.
We also have something else for you.
What is it?
Well, I can make my way to the table. What is this?
It's a really Dutch pot of candy. But it's not just liquors in there, there's a lot of sugary fruits in there too.
And what is this last piece?
It's we wanted it a lottery, but we thought it was
They're cangers.
Yeah, it's a brand.
Extra groot stroopwafels.
They're extra large. But we also have something else for you.
The bag is my favorite part.
We also have an honorary membership card for the Dutch Supernatural family for you.
I'm gonna get it. This is so... Do we have scissors anywhere?
We made the key card ourselves, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
With our own logo. Florine also wants to ask you something.
Hi, Florian.
we wanted to ask you if you wanted to do a group photo with the Dutch supernatural family.
I'm taking these off. All right.
There you go.
Where is everyone?
Go as far back as you can. Get as many people in as you can. Well, I'm gonna put my clocks back on.
I say,
Did that happen? Did it work? Did you get hundreds of people in? Okay. All right, we're gonna real people. Are we gonna get everyone to cheer for the picture even though it has no sound?
And on the other side.
Okay. I found a better system. Oh, this is starting off so weird. Sorry, I'm actually feeling tired right now. It's a really strange sensation. And this
How was the concert? You went to the concert yesterday.
I did, and I stayed for the entire thing.
I know.
And I didn't get much sleep. I think the lack of sleep is probably doing something with the tired. Also, I had a lot of sugary sweets and other stuff. I don't know if anyone saw my autograph table. It is the messiest table I've ever seen. Yeah, I'm a little bit ashamed. Because I've never seen an autograph table that is so messy. I have crumbs everywhere. I have Sharpie marks everywhere. I have garbage all around it. It's a disaster.
Thank you for the cookie.
Oh yeah, and thank you for all taking cookies. I have so much stroopwafel to go through.
Keep saying that. You get better every time.
I'm gonna get better. And what was the other one? Sabalala? No.
Speculaas.
Speculaas. Speculaas. Oh yes. Thank you. This feels like a coronation. But don't cut yourself. Watch your fingers. Okay. Come on, does anyone have an angel blade? Okay. So people actually wore these? They're wooden shoes.
Yeah, for like.
Farmers still wear
Oh my God.
Or when you're living in my part of Netherlands, it's Twente, they're all still walking on there, so.
Why wouldn't, like, is there a purpose to these? Like, why this shape, why so uncomfortable?
What for working shoes, so.
Working shoes.
protection. What she said.
Oh, okay, fill it up with straw. Did you guys give me a bag of straw?
Yeah, right there.
That's an incomplete gift.
Airport security.
They don't allow straw now? Did someone choke on it and became a hazard all of a sudden? I wouldn't be surprised, actually. Okay, do we have another question? Okay, we need a system for this. Where's the mic anyways? Oh, there it is.
other side, please.
Bubbles.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, if you could be any supernatural creature in the world, what would you be and why?
If I could be any, I would be Crowley. And if you've ever read the super wiki description of Crowley, it's like, here are all his powers, here are his weaknesses. Like, well, he doesn't really have any weaknesses.
He has a mother.
He has a mother, right? Crowley is, it's weird to say it, but Crowley is almost a perfect being. He's got every single power that you could want and then some, and I don't know, he owns the moon, you know? Crowley, definitely Crowley. It's also weird to think of him as a creature, but Crowley. Crowley's not human. Crowley is Crowley.
You're so much. I love you. You're adorable.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
That was your stupid question. So
You
here-
did?
Here you go.
All right, listen. She promised me she'd ask a stupid question. Okay, I'm actually gonna take these off. They're really hurting my ankles. Yeah, well, let's hear it. What's the stupid question?
Well, first, thank you for your hugs. They were quite nice.
And thank you for returning them. They're also quite nice.
Definitely rating the top 3.
We need more.
Right, so during a photo shoot like today, what is the weirdest thing they ever ask you to do? Weirdest position or...
I don't know if that qualifies as a stupid question. That's actually a pretty good question.
Well, you said it was.
The weirdest thing I've been asked to do in a photo op. Oh, that is. Usually they include props. I can't remember when this was, but right after the scene where I died, a lot of people wanted to reenact my smiting. I just think that was poor timing. But that was the thing. And some people, this one person was dressed as Kevin and wanted me to be Sam. That was kind of nice. But no one has asked me to like bend over and pretend to be Dr. Jimmy or anything. I think everyone's really good about that, you know?
Damn, missed opportunity.
All right, well, fine. Next time you see me in a photo op, ask me to bend over and see where that goes, right?
You can put it on. I'm gonna do that.
That's good. I'm gonna regret saying that, probably.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. What's your favorite memory on set of Supernatural while not filming?
Favorite memory on set of Supernatural while not filming has to do with Mark Shepard. This was the first day I met him. Let me tell you the story of why I really, really like Mark. I thought he hated me that first day. I didn't know him, and I didn't really watch that much sci-fi stuff before. So I was just, introducing myself like, hey, my name is Osric, what's your name? And Mark does this. He's standing beside his chair and his name is on it. He just gives me like this really dirty look and points at his chair. I'm like, oh, Mark. I'm like, well, very nice to meet you. And then it just kind of went off. And so I thought he hated me because we didn't really say much after that. We did our scene and that was that. And then at San Diego Comic-Con, which is like 10, 20 times bigger than this,
Wow.
there's this one intersection between the convention and all the hotels where there are literally thousands of people crossing all the time. And I was on my own and I was just gonna cross the street into downtown to grab some food. And I had just shaved off my head for Halo. And so from season 7, Kevin, where I had really long hair, I was next to bald. And the episodes just came out, so no one really knew who I was. And so during Comic-Con that year, I had 4 people recognize me. And Mark Shepard was one of them. So I was crossing the street, and in the crowd of thousands of people, I get this hand on my shoulder, and it's Mark, and he says, Osric! This just proves you don't all look alike. He's got a knack for one-liners. And he was with Misha and Jim. They were heading back somewhere, I don't know. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I was gonna find some food. He's like, no, you aren't, just follow me. And so I followed Mark, and he took me on this weird adventure backstage, and I was like hanging out with all the celebrities and guests there, and I just felt so out of place. People were like giving me things, and I didn't want to touch it, or I felt like I was stealing. It was such a strange feeling, but after that, I don't know. I had a soft spot for Mark after that, because different haircut completely. We only met that one day, and he only said one mean thing to me, and he recognized me in a crowd of thousands of people. So that was definitely probably one of my favorite moments, not filming the show, Mark. And that's why I love Mark so much. A lot of random things too. Let's do this.
Hi, I was wondering what Hogwarts house are you in?
Gryffindor, by and large. I know it's an obvious one, but I definitely grew up with hero syndrome. You know, I read the books thinking I was Harry. I have a scar in the middle of my forehead, and all those things. Yeah, very, very much Gryffindor. But the other houses, actually, I shouldn't talk bad about the other houses. Yeah, you know, what, Slytherin was the evil one, but they got Snape, and Snape is like the best character. You know, especially there's this video where they cut all the scenes together from Snape chronologically, and it's so sad. I mean, Ravenclaw's pretty cool. If I wasn't in Gryffindor, I'd be in Ravenclaw. Hufflepuff. I mean, J.K. Rowling's a Hufflepuff. They are loyal. Hufflepuff. I think Hufflepuff's like everyone's friend now. I love Harry Potter. I did a lot of Harry Potter shopping here. All right, Bubbles. What you got?
What was your favorite encounter with a fan or every other person in the world?
Favorite encounter with a fan? You know, every convention usually you'll come across a couple of people that really you make a strong connection with. Like the nature of Supernatural and the fandom itself. Again, yesterday if you were there, I was talking about how a lot of fandoms kind of take a lot of the characteristics of the show. And so Supernatural, a lot of the fandoms, you know, it's really strong family values and, you know, people are all fighting their own demons in whatever shape or form. And so in this fandom, and I'm sure a lot of you know, like the Tumblr and all that, there's a lot of people that battle with depression and anxiety and all of these, you know, mental illnesses. And every now and then at this, half the people are way too shy for their own good, right? Incredibly considerate people, super kind, but they just don't know how to step outside their boundaries. And I'm the type of person that just likes to push people. You know, if I have a friend and they tell me that they want to go to that square, but they don't even want to go to this square, I'll be the one that just gives them a shove this way, even if they don't want it. I'm like, well, now you're a little bit closer, and just go over there. And I'll encourage them to death, and almost to the point where it's kind of painful. I should probably stop. But I'm the type of person that just likes to encourage people to get to the places that they want. And so every now and then at a convention, you'll meet a couple of people that, you know, maybe it's a quiet moment, I get a chance to finally talk to them. You know, and they tell me all these things, and being in a position of influence that I am, you know, it's a very special thing. And I relate it to Spider-Man, you know, like Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility, right? And so when I see that I can just wave or smile at someone and it could change their entire day, you know, to me that feels like a power. And so for me that feels also like a responsibility. And so the things that I say actually can affect someone a lot. And so I use that along with my tendencies to just push people. And if I see someone that's so shy and uncomfortable, I'm like, well, I can see that you want this thing, but you're too afraid to let yourself do it. And sometimes I'll just give them almost every time I'll give them a good nudge in that direction. And at least half the time they get there and they're like, whoa, I didn't know I could be here, and now I am. And you can kind of see the spark in their eye that the whole world just opens up, because this one thing can be applied to so many things. And I don't know, it's just that little moment where you feel like you can actually make a difference. And that is so powerful. And as an actor, one of the things I struggled with at the beginning was why I wanted to do this, because, you know, for most of us, we don't feel like we're contributing to society. We don't feel like we're really doing anything that was that good apart from feeling better about ourselves. You know, it feels like a very selfish career, but in those moments it actually feels like this is something that I can give back and I have made a difference. So that, I completely forgot what you asked me. So that's my point.
Encounter with fans.
So I can't say that I have one specific encounter, but I can tell you that every city I've gone to, there's at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 or 4 people that I've really connected with that usually I'll stay, I'll keep tabs. Even if I don't talk to them, I'll still stalk them. I probably shouldn't admit this, but I stalk a lot of my fans. Just to keep tabs on them, and if they're going in the wrong direction, I'll just send them like a message like, hey, I'm watching you do this. and usually they will. And again, it's a powerful thing to watch people change and, hopefully for the better. This could very, very easily bite me in the ass. But I'm a risk taker, so.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't tell anyone to do anything I wouldn't be willing to do myself. So, it's definitely one of the best things about this fandom that I truly enjoy. And again, that's why I like interacting with the fans so much. It's for those special moments. Right? That's why I like to get to know everyone. That's why I probably stalk at least 20% of you here. So.
Can you stalk me too?
Sorry about that. Okay, next question. Hey.
Hi. I was wondering, when you were first cast for Kevin the Supernatural, you were a great student who just became proud of the angel tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Did you already know that you were gonna turn into a total badass later and bombing, demons with bombs?
No. When I first got cast into the role, I thought, wow, this is the most stereotypical Asian character I've ever played. And 2, I actually originally declined the role, which, thinking back, would have been the worst decision of my life. It was between, I auditioned for both Supernatural and a series regular on a J.J. Abrams pilot, and as soon as I auditioned for both, I got offers for both of them. The problem was there's a scheduling conflict, and I could only do one. And so I chose the J.J. Abrams pilot because it was a series regular, and it just worked out. My agent called me and he says, Osric, you got a horseshoe up your ass because it's the same business affairs guy and they're going to try to make it work. The pilot never ended up going through and it ended up, so it was Supernatural thank goodness I got to do it. And, it was 3 episodes I thought I was going to die. They didn't kill me. And then I thought it was going to be 5 episodes and then I was going to die. They didn't kill me. Then I thought it was going to be 9 episodes. Didn't kill me. 12 episodes, they still didn't kill me, And then 15 episodes, I'm like, oh, finally, I'm getting to stay, and then they killed me. And they really mess with you like that, but still, this show's changed my life forever, and sometimes I really do feel like I have a horseshoe up my ass. Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's ask someone on this side.
Hi, I was wondering if Kevin Tran ever watches TV shows and which TV shows would he recommend?
Does Kevin Tran? Of course he, actually, no he doesn't. I guess he only found time to play games. I don't think they have TV in the Men of Letters. I think they made one reference that he was watching porn. Internet, Skyrim, Magic Cards, Aziz Ansari. Yeah, I don't think he does watch TV. That kind of bums me out. I don't think he has time to watch TV.
Then, if he did have time, which shows do you think he'd like?
He'd watch Supernatural, obviously. No, he'd watch Parks and Rec, because that's where Aziz... That's how he knows Aziz Ansari. Great show, by the way, if you haven't seen Parks and Recreation. Oh, I missed that show already. We got a question on this side from another dean. Woman.
I'm a big fan of the Hollywood show, and when I saw your face in the Walking Dead parody, I was like, how is he doing that? Why is he there? And I was wondering, what was your favorite scene to make when making the parody?
Okay, let me talk about the Hollywood show a little bit. So the Hollywood show, it's these 2 sisters, they're based in Vegas, that started doing parodies of popular shows and movies, and the first one was Twilight, and it got like millions of hits, and so they just kept doing it. And this is why I love Comic-Con type events. So I do a lot of Supernatural specific events, which are great. You see, this is why I get to be friends with actors that I've never worked with, right? Like Richard, Rob, Matt, like all these guys I've never done an episode with, but we know each other so well because of Supernatural conventions. We see each other all the time. It's kind of weird, but amazing at the same time. Something like this, I have not met anyone, and there's something magical about that. I get to run around the hall and buy things, you know, Harry Potter stuff that has nothing to do with Supernatural. I get to meet the other actors of shows that I'm a fan of, and so I actually met the Hillywood sisters in Spain at a convention there, and I don't know, we shared a car together to the hotel, and I had no idea what they were or what they did, and they're like, oh, we just make stupid YouTube things. And I looked it up, I'm like, wow, and I was just so impressed by the production value and that they did everything themselves. And so we kept in touch, and when they did the Walking Dead thing, they asked me if I wanted to be Glenn, and I'm like, I was just cosplaying Glenn. I was at Emerald City trying to meet Steven Yeun I was cosplaying as Glenn, and I was gonna get a photo op with Glenn. But then he canceled, so I was pretty bummed out. And then I got to play him, which was great. Yeah, and I don't know, a favorite scene was probably the rain scene. We had firemen standing on the roof and just showering us with the hose. It was great, it was fun. I'm trying to push for a Supernatural parody, so. Hopefully they'll do that soon and they'll let me play Crowley. I'm like, I'll do the Supernatural one as long as I play anyone except for Kevin. Meaning I play Crowley, so. We'll see if we go for that. Who has the mic right now? There's a floater mic. Sure. Thor.
What would be your favorite cosplay ever to do? Which would be your dream cosplay?
I'm actually planning one of them right now. And I've been planning it for like 6 months already. And it'll be another couple months till it's ready. This is the one. Let me tell you about a funny conversation that I had with my agents at the beginning of this year. So they called me and they're like, Osric, so we've noticed that you've been slacking on auditions and stuff, and you know, you're not doing. It's like, basically, let's cut to the chase. We realize that you're doing a lot of these conventions and a lot of the cosplaying, and we feel like that's taking up a lot of your time. It's like, we need you to step away from that. And during that call, I was flying to Virginia to make a duct tape dummy of myself for a costume. And I'm like, oh yeah, probably. I was like, yeah, you probably got something there. So this year is probably the last year that I go too crazy. But there's a point in time where I'm like, you know what? I get to go to these events, I get to do the costumes without getting fired now. And I'm like, but I'm in a position where I can not only cosplay, but I can innovate. Why am I not trying to pioneer an industry? And so this costume and another one is something that I'm working on. And I mean, there's been a lot of really incredible cosplays here, and so being able to design stuff and figure out how to make it bigger and better is just really fun. So I don't want to say what it is, because I mean, there's a chance it might not get through because it is pretty ambitious, but I mean, you know, if it does, I'll say this, if it does work out, even the people who don't watch Supernatural will see it. Because I believe it will be that good. So, anyways, yes, I could talk about that for too long too. Hi.
Hi. What's your favorite Supernatural episode ever?
I mean, I have a stigma about being asked favorites or answering a favorite because, you know, we constantly change. You know, my favorite food today might be different tomorrow, right? So my favorite episode today might be different after I watch the next episode. It might be, like, the Netherlands might be my favorite city, or it might be my favorite country to call a city, but Vancouver might be my favorite city to be home, but I might not like it for work. There's so many different things about favorites, so I know, generalizations of anything I just think is not a good place to go. Yesterday I did say it was season 1, episode 10, Home, and my other one would be Reading is Fundamental because that changed my life. Yeah, it was Faith. Oh, right, it was Faith, sorry. Season 1, episode 10. Yeah, so it's either Faith or... It's either Faith or Reading is Fundamental. I really gotta control my impulses. Yeah. Who's got it? Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the YouTube video you made, the continued Winchester Gospel.
Right. Okay.
I wanted to ask what prompted you to do that. Why did you make
Okay, before I continue, who hasn't seen the Kevin's continued Winchester Gospel? Okay, get him out of here. Okay, that's fine. Just don't, if you ever meet any of the other actors, anyone that created, do not tell them about it, please. Okay, so Kevin, God, you guys are videotaping this too. So Kevin's continued Winchester Gospel happened. It was this girl on Tumblr called Kelsey, and she was drunk one night, and and this friend asked her, it's like, hey, what would happen if Kevin continued where Chuck left off in writing the gospel? And she was really drunk, and so she wrote in Kevin's voice, as a drunk, pissed off, and horny Kevin. And she's a really big Destiel shipper. And so she writes a scene, totally, and it was really funny, and it's just Kevin ranting about how these guys are assholes and how they're totally gay for each other. And that's it, right? And so I stumbled upon it, and I don't know, I have poor impulse control, as you can see, and I messaged her, I'm like, hey, we should make this a thing. I'm like, first thing you need to do is, if we're gonna ship anything, we have to ship everything. So, I'm like, okay, I know you're a Destiel heavy blog, but I'm like, this is not gonna be as popular right away, but you have to start shipping everything. So write ship for things that even you don't believe in, and so she started doing it. So it was a couple of months of her writing a couple of those, and then we just slowly developed the idea. I'm like, okay, so Kevin is writing the Winchester Gospel. Basically, Kevin has Chuck's powers where he knows what's happening in the past, the present, the future, and he's just writing it while he's in the bunker alone, and he's tired, he's angry at them, he's super lonely, and he's really, really horny. And so everyone and everything is sexy to him, and for each other, including inanimate objects and stuff. I don't know why, honestly. I just went with it, I decided to do it. I converted half of my room right now in LA is the Men of Letters. I redid half of my room. It's painted, I got furniture made for it. Please don't ever tell any of the other actors. This is actually really embarrassing. I'm sorry, it's too late. So half my room is the Men of Letters. And I just, we have scripts and I figure it out, and then I just sit there and I'm pretending to be, and I've never had alcohol in my life, but I'm pretending to be drunk and talking about me having major crush on Crowley and Dean going after Sam and Sam, everything. So it's, I don't know, I really shouldn't try to think of reasons why I'm doing these things. I just do it because I think it'll be fun, and that's it. So if you get a chance, check it out. Oh right. It's called Kevin's Continued Winchester Gospel. There's 3 episodes out right now. There's going to be another 2. And this is just something I do for fun, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Okay, right, we got to do this. So I'm doing a raffle that I wanted to do in DutchComicCon. I'm going to take 3 people out for food either tonight or if I crash, maybe tomorrow. So you've all been filling out these really bright post-it notes, and I guess we're gonna pick it. So, Sabina, can I get you to pick the first one? Hopefully you're still in town, but we'll work. Okay.
Jill Sands.
Jill Sands. Oh, the one that didn't write a contact info. So actually, if Jill Sands is not here, we're gonna have to pick someone else. Jill Sands. She might be gone already. There was 2 steps on that. I gave you, the instructions were 2 steps. Name and contact. Okay. Well, okay, that was a miscue. Let's try it again. Jill Sands. Okay. I'm not gonna try. Oh, Brian, yeah. Brian Lowe. Brian Lowe.
Natural fans! I think a lot of people aren't here.
All right, it's okay. You left the number. I can give him a call later. So we got Brian. Okay, actually, you pick. I would love to pick someone that's actually here, though. That'd be more fun.
Pick me! Oh, pick me! Yeah, here!
Pick me!
Okay. Yeah. Mathilde von Stapperhoff. Mathilde von Stapperhoff. We got number 2 then. And Maurice, you want to pick the third one? Can you pick the third one?
I want to pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
My name is not in there.
Did you?
Oh, we have breakfast.
Nee, dat wil ik ook niet.
Oh, they know the colors.
Yeah, of course.
Who is it?
Julia Havelaar.
Are you leaving today or tomorrow? Today? Okay, we'll figure it out. After, can you just meet me like behind the curtain and we'll work it out? Yes, someone's here. And if for some reason we can't get a hold of these 2, I'll just keep picking until we get it. And hopefully you follow the 2-step instructions. Name and contact info.
Sorry, probeer het.
Oh, bubbles.
You can have them.
Awesome. So, is this the last thing? Like, so as soon as this is done, everyone's going home?
Yeah.
That's pretty sad.
Thank you, Mitch.
All right. Does anyone have any questions or more bubbles? Where's the mic?
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm planning to get a supernatural tattoo sleeve. And I only have 1 tattoo right now, so I was wondering if you have any tattoo ideas.
Wrong person to ask.
Peter Pan.
Okay, the reason why I can't start a lot of games is because it takes me sometimes a week, even a month to think of the name. And the reason why I think the names are so important is because my name is so... I've never met another Osric. Is there an Osric out here? Okay, I've never met another Osric. And a couple of years back, it just occurred to me how different my life would be if I didn't have to constantly introduce myself. If I never felt self-conscious about my name in front of now. You know, there was a point in grade 6 when I said my name so much that it lost meaning to me. You know, it started sounding weird, and I didn't feel like I could even say it myself. So I was like Osric, and I hated it. You know, I was so sad about it, and I wanted to change my name. And then I became really stubborn, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna make it a life goal of mine. It's so weird. I'm gonna make it a life goal for me to make Osric mean something so that people name their babies after me. Just so that I didn't have to tell people how to pronounce my name. That was it. But it changed a lot of who I am. So in the same way, I feel like it is for games. Like when I used to play World of Warcraft, I would play a girl character. Why? Because you get free stuff. And it's just that little, you know, just click that one button and everything comes to you a lot easier. I mean, certainly there's other things that you don't, you know, people don't try. I mean, you can't go to events because you're not actually a girl. There's a lot of things, but I don't know, I just feel like a name, a good name might have people select you, trust you, rather than, want to boot you out of their party. And so, if I can't even decide on a name, tattoos. I used to, and this is why I can't do tattoos, because if I were to ever do a tattoo, it would be an impulsive one. And I don't think that's ever going to be a good decision for me. I'm also fairly obsessive compulsive. So when I find something, I obsess over it. So I feel like if I did tattoos and that was a thing, that would also not, I would end up, playing, the hardcore kind of characters, and it just doesn't really, I don't feel like that type of person, right? As an actor, you could be any type of person, and there's a character for you. But I don't know. For me, it doesn't match up with my personality. I don't know. Please don't ask me to decide for you. I have so much. No, there are wonderful. I know there are plenty of wonderful artists in this room who would. Do not tattoo a stick figure that I drew. that would horrify me to no end. To know that I did that to someone. Give me a couple of months to work on my stick figures, and maybe they're going to be the straightest lines you'll ever see. Oh man. Let's take a question from someone further back.
Osric.
What?
I have some terrible news.
Wait, hold on. Let's take a question from someone further back. Where's the other mic?
Gone.
Okay, let's take someone from someone I can't see.
All right.
Okay, last one. Okay.
Last one.
All right, pass it.
That's you.
Music mics. Hi.
Again. Before a question, I just want to say you look adorable and you're playing my first ever crush. So.
Peter Pan. That was mine.
Okay. The question is, how did you get into acting? How did you start out?
And this is something that comes with having a wonderful mother. My mom was the type of woman that would try to get her kids into everything, and so I signed up. I've tried so many things in my life. Like, I've forgotten so many things that I've tried, and it's funny how sometimes it comes back to me. It's like, oh yeah, I've played that random instrument. I've tried these obscure sports, because my mom tried to get me into everything, and acting was one of those things. And so I got into this class really early when I was like 9. Teacher introduced me to an agent, and I've been with that agency ever since. Throughout high school, I never really paid attention to it. I wanted to be a stuntman, and so I trained to be a martial artist. After high school, I really went competitive. I made the Canadian national team for my martial arts, and so I was ready to be a stuntman, not an actor. What happened though was my agent finally found out that I could do martial arts. And it had been on my resume the whole time, but my agent specializes in Asian actors, and so everyone has Kung Fu on the resume. But I had just made the Canadian national team, and he's like, no one is nearly anything even close to what you are. And so he went nuts over it, and he sent this demo tape that I had to everyone, and within 2 months I got a lead role in a Kung Fu movie for Spike TV. I mean, I still have not seen the movie, and I probably won't ever watch that movie, but it was a big stepping stone, and they needed an actor that could do his own stunts, that didn't need to be pampered, that they can just throw it in there, that would be okay with pooping in the woods and stuff, and I was just that person, right? Because it was in a rural city, and and I have very low standards for living conditions. So, it was just that perfect mix, and after that, I tried to do, when you're starting out as a freelancer for anything, it's a lot of waiting. And so at the beginning, I was trying to go for stunts, waiting a long time, and I was trying to, do a regular job, 9 to 5, just to have something to do. And I quickly realized that I couldn't, knowing what was possible. And that year, I think I quit about 20 to 30 jobs, and without explanation. Like, I loved finding the job. I loved interviewing for the job. I loved training for the job. But after that first day, second day, I just started to think, I'm like, okay, I'm doing this today, I'm gonna be doing this tomorrow, next week I'm gonna do the same. And like all of a sudden my whole future flashes in front of my eyes and I feel like that's it. I'm like, my life is lived. What's the point? And so I would freak out and then I wouldn't show up the next day. Like that's how I quit. I just stopped showing up. And so I would do this 20 to 30 times that year, and then at the very end, I just decided, you know what? The only thing I've ever enjoyed doing was this acting thing, and so that was my new obsession. And the nice thing about that is, as an actor, your job is, when you get the job, it's really easy. You're not really doing much. Everyone's pampering you. You have a ton of assistants. You already know you can do the job, so it really doesn't feel like a job. You get paid way too much for waiting, really. So the actual work is getting the work, right? So it's auditioning, constantly getting those rejections, and that's the part that really excited me about my 9-to-5 search, right? So I kind of feel like I'm in a good place where I get to audition, I get to interview for all these jobs, I get to do the training, and even for a movie that I love, after the first week I get tired of it. I'm like, oh, what's the next thing? So it kind of works out, I can finish that project, at least there's an end date, and I don't know what's after that. So I can do that, but I think it comes down to I just get really bored really quickly, and so.
You're not bored of us, right?
No, I'm not. But yeah, so stunts was the first thing. Acting is this thing, but tomorrow I might want to be a chef. I have no idea. Life is about the experience. It's about learning. It's about trying new things, and I don't ever want to confine myself to this one thing that I think that I'm supposed to be doing or that I have to do. So, with anything, one more thing. Let me tell you the story of my bracelet. So this used to be a necklace, and then I cut it accidentally while trying to make a duct tape demo. But this is from a movie 2012, and I was a monk character. And I asked my dialect coach what it meant, and he told me that when monks go into the monastery, they tie a little knot on a red string, and that signifies their dedication to always being a student, right? To always being open to lessons, and essentially you're going through life. Like even if you're the Rinpoche, you're the Dalai Lama, you always approach every situation, every human being with an open heart and an open mind. And that really stuck with me. And so I never took this off until it got cut accidentally while making a duct tape dummy of myself. But I put it, as a reminder that I'm living today because there's still something I want to learn. There's still something I want to experience, and that's because I get bored. So. For that same reason, I decided to come to the Netherlands instead of going to Seattle Convention, which is, that's the safe thing. You go to Seattle, Netherlands, who knows, you might get stuck in an airport in Paris. But it's that adventure that I crave, it's the unknown. Even getting stuck in Paris, who knows what might happen? I might bump into a janitor there that I might become lifelong friends with, who knows, right? And it's that excitement that I absolutely love. So I always say yes to adventures. Yes Man, the movie changed my life. I moved to China after watching that movie because I said yes to someone asking me if I wanted to go. So that's just the mentality I have. I get bored easily, and so I try all these things. Okay, all right, Maurice. Sorry. Is he there? Okay. All right, let's take another one. Who's got the mic? All right, you get to choose. Okay, one more until he comes back. And then I'll
Hi. I was wondering, what is your OTB?
Obviously Kevin and Crowley. The unlikely pair. You know what? Even though he killed his girlfriend, he tortured his mom and all that, I really feel like Crowley has a soft spot for Kevin. I'm going to stick with that story. I can go for that. I also think that if anyone were to ever resurrect Kevin, it would be Crowley. I think he's the only one that can. I think he would actually do it.
Can you make that happen?
I don't know.
Team of Kevin!
Honestly,
Make it
probably
happen!
not. I probably annoy Mark more than anyone. Mark said somewhere, he's like, Comic-Con is where you make friends that you just can't get rid of after. And he was talking about me, so. Yeah. Hi, Mark. Okay, alright, yeah. I'm doing good. Okay, we can do one more? Is that what you're saying? Alright, let's do some more.
This is so much fun. One more? The lights are already on.
Okay, one more with lights.
This is the final.
Okay, this is fine. Alright, Thomas, this is fine.
Hiya.
Hi.
My name's Patty. I don't know if you remember.
That's like you. I don't know how many times I've seen you this week.
I think you remember everyone.
I remember a lot of you now.
Okay. My question was, if you could do a crossover between any two shows, which would you do, and what character would you play?
If crossover as in just mash the two shows and me being in it? Ooh. Well, I don't know why they haven't done it, but they should do a Super Hulox. And then talk to your group and just bring Kevin back. That would be the guy to do, right? Ah, that would be great. Yeah, let's make that happen, please.
Mag ik van jullie een gigantisch applaus voor ons?
Seriously, everyone, thank you so much. Like, I did not expect there to be this many people here to see me in the Netherlands. It is absolutely
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad I came. And thank you for all the stoop waffles.
En dan wil ik ook bij je mededelen dat dit ook het laatste optreden was van deze DutchComicCon. Wat vonden jullie ervan?